Something new is coming to Westfield Public Schools. Volunteer patrols to add an extra level of security during the school day.
Western Mass News reporter Glenn Kittle has more details on who's leading this effort.
Westfield Public Schools is implementing a new program to keep kids safe by recruiting voluntary veterans to patrol the inside and outside of schools and using their military expertise to identify any potential threats. The pilot program will start in Franklin Ave, Paper Mill, and Abner Gibbs elementary schools. The volunteer vets will be unarmed and carry walkie-talkies to communicate with the school's office staff if they identify suspicious activity on school grounds. Superintendent of Westfield Public Schools, Stefan Zaporowski, tells Western Mass News the volunteers' military experience will help with recognizing potential threats.
Their circumstances, they're able to identify a potential dangerous situation, and they just have experience in those kinds of atmospheres. And not that our schools have that, but I think they can also serve as a possible deterrent.
And veterans will receive an added benefit for their volunteer work. The city of Westfield is prepared to dish out a $1,500 property tax break if they hit 100 hours of patrols. The director of Veteran Services for the city of Westfield, Julie Barnes, tells Western Mass News even before they added the tax incentive, veterans were eager to volunteer their time.
We had a lot of veterans come into our office before the program even released. They had kind of heard it through the grapevine. So when it released on January 1st, we've had quite a few veterans come in.
Zaporowski tells us this program is another small but necessary step in continuing to protect against potentially dangerous situations at school.
It takes a village, and I think that student safety is a top priority, not just for the school department, but for everyone.
Reporting in Westfield, Glenn Kittle, Western Mass News.